Ready.
It's serious interview. Take one.
Take one.
Okay. Hello there, Laura. How's it going?
Good, Clayton. Thank you.
Okay. The first question is, what was your motivation to open your own business?
In high school, I always liked to sew. In high school, I always liked to create things. And I decided in high school that I was going to have a fabric store one day.
Good. That's cool. Name a challenge of being an entrepreneur.
One challenge, the most challenging part,
Yeah, what's the most challenging thing to be an entrepreneur?
is dealing with the employees.
Really?
The employees is the hardest part.
Not the customers?
No.
Really?
Employees. And how the employees treat the customers. And how they decide to do it how you want
Interesting.
things run.
Interesting. So why did you choose this business? Obviously, was it because something you're really interested in?
Yes, and then, want the background?
Sure.
So then I went to Douglas College and took the 2-year fashion design program.
Right.
I happened to be working at the Bay in the fabric department. I lucked out getting into the fashion design program because I had actually attended UBC for a short while. But they had an opening in the fashion design, so I didn't have to do the portfolio, so everything kind of went my way. I just went and they took me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I worked at a fabric store in Ocean Park part-time while I did a few more academic courses at Douglas College. And then this fabric store that I own came up for sale.
Did you know that you were going to work with fabric? Did you think that you were going to, once we taking your courses, do you think that you were going to have your own small business? Or do you think you were just going to get into the field doing something else? Or was your whole plan to become an entrepreneur before you started? Or did that arise sort of after you thought about things more? Or just sort of came out?
Just happened. I think it was just a fluke. Actually, I don't think I really thought about very much when I was in college. I didn't really have a plan, actually.
Okay.
It just happened.
That's good. Did you do lots of research before you bought your business?
I went to the FBDB, Federal Business Development Bank, I think it's called, and I took some courses with them, basic small business course, and I took, and they had a little bit of an accounting overview, because I didn't know anything about accounting. And research, I just really enjoy fabric and sewing and having taken the design. So, no, I didn't really research. I didn't look into anything like location or market or anything.
No. I'm sure you've learned a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you said before, you bought the business while it was already running?
It was running. It was in there for 10 years.
In the same location?
Yeah.
And then you changed the name when you bought it, though?
I didn't change the name right away, but then the sign I had, I got my first lesson in business. My first big mistake in business was not to sign a contract without sleeping on it. Always don't sign anything unless you sleep on it overnight and even discuss it with someone totally independent. And I signed a contract for the big neon sign, which is the total rip-off, and the fellow was a very good salesman. Yeah, I ended up buying the sign.
It's not the one you have, though.
Yeah,
that
it's
one?
the same one. And they charge per month.
Really? They charge per month?
No, because I bought it. I ended up buying it from him. But he finally said, why don't you just call it Laura's Fashion Fabric? It's called Fashion Fabric.
Was it just called Fashion Fabric before?
Yeah.
Did you just call it Laura?
Yeah, but it was his
idea.
Yeah,
But yeah. Your first question is, sleep on all contracts.
All contracts.
And major decisions, right?
Think about them 24 hours before you sign anything.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. How did you come up with your business plan?
Don't really have a business plan.
Okay, that's alright. Well, I'm sure most businesses don't, so I'm going to skip. the question is, how important is a business plan to your business? So I guess a better way of asking this was, do you think a business plan was sort of basically all this is writing down everything from financial to like what your goals are to like your mission statement and how you're going to do everything, who you're going to order from, everything. Do you think that would have been beneficial at all, or how beneficial do you think that would have been to your business?
I don't think when you have your own business, because the first few years I was working the full 6 days a week and probably 12 hours a day with no time off. There was no time to write anything down. But the first, say, 6 or 8 or 10 years, I worked so much that I think you have all the numbers and the theories in your head. So maybe it's not written down, but you have a concept that you're going with, be it right or wrong. But so maybe it would be better to have it on paper. But now, as I'm not there as much, it's harder for me to have a handle on. I can't have a handle on what's happening as clearly, right? So now it would be more important to have a business plan, especially if you're, what do they call it, an absentee owner, right?
So someone's not there every day.
Yeah, not consistently, right?
Right. Okay, so so in those first years, you obviously worked a lot and you worked hard. So how many hours? Because we said we served in class, we talked about.
Oh, how many hours?
Worked a lot and stuff. So how many hours do you think was normal for you for a week or like for a day? Like we working like 8 hours a day.
The first year, when I first bought the store, we were open from 9 till 6. So that's what? 9 hours a day. Yeah.
10, 11, 12,
6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
9 hours a day. So you have to be there roughly half an hour to an hour ahead of time to vacuum and clean.
Right.
And then cashing up probably half an hour afterwards, especially when you're brand new.
Right.
So we're probably talking 11 to 12 hour days actually in the store 6 days a week for the first 2 or 3 years.
Right. You still have any employees did you have employees when you first started?
The lady that managed the store was supposed to stay on, but she quit as soon as I bought it. They were quite a bit, because I was only 21, right? So they were all probably 55 or 60, which at that time seemed like a drastic difference. So 2 or 3 stayed on.
You were 21 when you bought it?
And 2 or 3 of them stayed on, but they worked. I would open and I would close, so I'd be there all day, and so they would come in like 11 to 4.
Right.
So.
And so they sort of passed on everything to you, right? Like
they passed on their. I had worked in that other fabric store, so I had a concept of how everything should go.
Right.
They passed on what they did, and then I changed or modified or adjusted how we did it.
Right.
Or they did it.
Good.
So in answer to your question, I don't have any of the same people now because they would be way too old.
Right.
But I do have employees that have been there. The shortest length employee is something like 7 years. No, sorry. The longest is like 20 years. So I have a very good history of keeping employees.